so let's look at the blessing of the Abyssal Moon, which applies to the whole Spider Abyss. I rephrased a bit to make it easier to understand. So if can I use the pen? So if a normal charged or plunge attack hit enemy multiple times in 2 seconds, their normal charged and plunging damage increased 5% for 8 seconds, maximum 75%. So this is huge. Um, it does takes until they die or leave the field. Okay, so please note it says if normal charged or plunging attack hit the enemies, their normal charged and plunging attack damage increased. So which means doing any one of normal charged or plunge will enhance all of them. For example, Shao performing some normal attacks will enhance his plunging as well. So that's good to know. Okay, before we move on, so who can benefit from this the most? It will be the dealers whose normal charged and or plunging attack is the main. So in case Tartaglia, Arataki Ito, Yanfei, Hu Tao, Yoimiya, Razor, Kokomi, Noel, Shao fit in here. Alternatively, Keqing, Eula, Ayaka, and Klee can be used, but their skills and burst damage are also big, so it's not a best choice you can use, but their burst and skill does not enhanced. Ganyu is also okay, but she will have to use some normal attacks, as her charged attacks are not fast enough to build the stacks, so she will lose some DPS. Okay, so the floor 12 ley lines disorder is this. Enemies with the Honed Spirit effect has 10% physical and all elemental resistance. And when they take hits that are considered normal attacks, they will lose 3% of physical and or elemental resistance, maximum of 30%, reset every 20 seconds. The important point here is if your dealer is not a normal attack main, you have to do some normal attacks to debuff the enemy the most. You don't have to keep attacking as a normal attack, but you have to do at least a maximum of 10 normal attacks to get the 30% resistance decrease. So Tartaglia, Yoimiya, Razor, Noel are still the best. Hu Tao and Shao fit in here, but their main attacks, so Hu Tao's main attack is charged and Shao's main attack is plunging. So you have to make sure to perform 10 normal attacks not have to be before but during the fight. So Hu Tao attack, attack, attack and charged. Shao to attack, plunge, it will be the best. Yanfei, Kokomi, Arasaki Ito are no longer in the best team because their normal attacks are too slow, um, and it takes the time to reach the max debuff. Uri and Klee are no longer recommended at all because of the same reason. Okay. Okay, so floor 12, first room first, half. There's only one perpetual mechanical array enemy. It has 70% physical resistance, so no physical dealers are allowed here. Um, it's also immune to freezing, so Ayaka and Ganyu are not highly recommended. Um, and during the fight, it will split into 4 parts, and you can only kill the parts that has a yellow bar around. So the best characters are Tartaglia, Hu Tao, Yoimiya, Noel, and Shao. And again, make sure to do some normal attacks if you use Hu Tao and Shao. Alternatively, you can use Keqing, Kokomi, Arataki Ito, and Yanfei if you don't have the best team. Okay, so the second half, there are 3 Rockford Rift Hound Wealth. Geo damage can lower their geo resistance, but they are only 3 and they are not really strong, so it's not a major concern here. After you defeating 3 of them, um, there will be one Pyro Abyss Rector, one Pyro Abyss Mage, and one Dendros Amateur. Pyro Abyss Rector is a new enemy from Enkanomiya, and just like the other Abyss Rector, it will create a shield before death. The shield's counter is Hydro, so make sure you have Hydro characters in your team. The other Pyro Abyss Mage too, you have to attack some Hydro or Cryo. Dendros Amateur is not a big deal. So Tartaglia is the best because he's Hydro dealer. Razor, Noel, Shao can use it, but make sure you have to have Hydro supporter. Other than the dealers, Barbara, Mona, Kokomi are the best choice because they can apply Hydro unlimitedly. Xingqiu is also good, but not necessarily the best. Okay, so the second room, first half, there's only one Primo GOV chef, and his elemental is Pyro. Just make sure it takes reduced damage until fully awake, so don't try to hit hard until then. Also, certain attacks can be countered by shield, so make sure to have shield characters in your team. Every character that is previously recommended as from the floor 12 ley lines is here. Tartaglia, Hu Tao, Yoimiya, Razor, Noel, Shao. Other than the dealers, shield characters like Zhongli, Diona, Noel, Thoma, Xinyan are recommended as a supporter. Second room's second half, there are 2 Hydro Abyss headers. The shields counters cryo, so make sure you brought the shield cryo characters. Same thing, Tartaglia, Hu Tao, Yoimiya, Razor, Noel, and Shao. Other than the dealers, any cryo characters are recommended to break the shield fast. Okay, so the last room, first half, there are 2 ring guards and then 2 ring raiders after. Their physical resistance is 70%, so no physical dealers are allowed, which is Razor. He's out. So every character except Razor is all recommended. Okay, so the last room, second half, there's only one Magot Kenki level 100. Make sure it takes no damage until fully awake, so don't try to hit hard. Hit it until then. But you can still attack with the skills and get some elemental particles if you are not fully charged. Also, it's immune to freezing, so Ayaka and Ganyu are not highly recommended here. So the best characters are Tartaglia, Hu Tao, Yoimiya, Razor, Noel, and Shao. Alternatively, you can use Kekin, Kokomi, Aratakito, or Yanfei.